Dear participants of this forum, dear friends, it's quite difficult to start my story after this moving talk of Natasha, but I'll try. I feel very privileged to take part in the discussions about present and future of global society to which each of us belongs. This topic leaves no one indifferent, but how can we influence the future? Sometimes it seems difficult even to alter your own destiny, not to mention the change of course of history of millions of people. However, being a citizen puts us responsibility to act and to use windows of opportunities that will be open eventually for all societies. I would like to tell you a short story how a nation that has lived through half a century totalitarian Soviet rule, restored independent statehood, and has succeeded to build up free democratic society and modern state, which is widely known as e-Estonia, digital Estonia. I am a happy person because I had an opportunity to see this enormous change from close distance. Actually, I was a member of this transitional parliament which declared independence of Estonia. What kind of hard issues we had to resolve? During the Soviet period, the composition of the Estonian population radically changed from practically mono-ethnic country before World War II into a society where 40% of the population were Russian-speaking immigrants. This was a result of deliberative Russification process, policies by the Soviet authorities. Among my colleagues in Supreme Council, this transition parliament, were 4 high-rank military officers from the Soviet troops in Estonia. Additionally, 1/3 of the transition parliament members belonged to so-called internationalist factions opposing to independence of Estonia. How to get from this politically divided society stable citizenry for the independent state of Estonia? The guiding principle of Estonians in the struggle for independence was the legal continuity of the Republic of Estonia. It based on the understanding that the occupation cannot interrupt the existence of a sovereign state. If there was a state, there were also citizens of that state. According to this legal logic, the citizenry of restored Republic of Estonia are the people who were Estonian citizens at the start of occupation, 16th of June 1940, and their legal descendants. According to the principle jus sanguinis, all other residents of Estonia have to apply to acquire Estonian citizenship through naturalization. Complicated process, still ongoing, because 6 of Estonian permanent residents are with undefined citizenship, owners of so-called grey passport. There are several reasons for this situation, including the fact that there is no difference in social rights of citizens and non-citizens. The only substantial difference is with regard to political rights, such as membership of political parties, participation in parliamentary elections and national referenda. All permanent residents, regardless of nationality, may participate in local government elections, and they use this right very well. The administration of community life should not be over-politicized. In the aftermath of abrupt change of political regime, it is of utmost importance to find a path towards a stable and sustainable democracy. The Constitution has an important role to play here. Different constitutional systems of government may support or hinder the democratic governance. In Estonia, we deliberately preferred a parliamentary system. Firstly, we wanted to avoid the risks that a president with strong powers could become an authoritarian ruler, endangering democracy. Secondly, we assumed that the parliamentary system allows better representation of different interests and values within Estonian society. In addition, the Estonian constitution provides for a proportional election system, which also fosters a politically colorful parliament. The typical number of political factions in Estonian parliament is 5 to 7. At the moment, 3 of them are in the government coalition: liberals, conservatives, and social democrats. Other 3 in opposition, also liberals, conservatives, and Free Party with no clear ideological self-determination. There is no deep divide between the right and left wing in Estonian politics. Different parties need to work together in order to form a government. It is a well-known fact that a viable democracy, parliamentary democracy, requires strong and vibrant system of political parties. After initial burst of formation of new parties, after restoration of independence, it took time and some legal measures to consolidate the party system in Estonia. Naturally, parties tried to match their ideological platforms with those of democratic countries. It means that political dilemmas like freedom versus equality, individualism versus solidarity, conservatism versus reformism are familiar to Estonian electorate as well. Similarly to the developments of other countries, Estonian citizens are critical of how democracy works now. It is important to understand what the causes of these reactions are in order to find a way to rectify the mechanisms of democracy. From my opinion, there are at least 2 important challenges to meet and resolve. The first can be described as inconsistency between the reality and the ideological reflection of the same reality. Something like in the Lewis Carroll novel Alice in the Wonderland, where real world and the mirror world differ. If traditional political parties are not able to see and propose solutions to the real concerns of people, populism and extremism will occupy the empty political space. This development is endangering the liberal democracy. Indeed, left and right, freedom versus equality may not be the most important political dominance for the people who are afraid of migration or simply lack main resources for survival. Political parties need more social nerve and flexibility of methods to tackle different societal problems. The visible hand of the market does not solve all problems for us. The second challenge we face now is the effect of digital revolution on the citizenship, democracy, and the entire societal life. In Estonia, we are digital citizens already in direct sense. We all have digital identity, which we can use in everyday life to get different electronic personalized services. A month ago, we had local elections, and 1/3 of electorate actually used this opportunity to vote via internet. We have this opportunity already 12 years, but I should honestly say you that just this moment we have some kind of crisis of our digital identities, because yesterday midnight our certificates which allow us to be digital citizens were stopped for almost half of our population. And it is because of misproduction of our smart cards, which make it more easy to corrupt our digital identities. And our government is very honest in this topic, telling us that it is the case, and therefore we are ready to meet this challenge, and we need to rectify our ID cards. But it doesn't mean that the Estonian society will turn back to the paper age. No, we feel ourselves like pioneers of this digital development, and we know that we should meet these risks, and we will definitely do this. There is no other way for Estonian society. Okay, so I need now to open again my iPad. Okay, however, I want to stress that voting, even internet voting, is not enough to secure democracy. Digital citizens expect much more: the opportunity to participate permanently in the political process and to influence outcome. In a networked society, people want to have government as a partner in their network, not a bureaucratic machine that stays apart. It is a very difficult task for governments, even if they operate without papers, like Estonian government is doing already 10 years, to meet this challenge and to restructure the operations of the government. Yeah, the critical matter is to change attitudes of policymakers and redesign governmental processes for more participatory governance. In my country, we have made a progress, but there is still a lot of work to ahead. I can tell you that our government is transparent, not only in papers or documents, but also about governmental processes, so that we can get access to the decision-making processes through one-stop-shop approach, which is very convenient for the citizens. But we still need to remember that technology is just an enabler, not an engine for change. This is the role of citizens and governments together. I see that the CAF is a perfect platform to propose concrete actions for change. Let's do it, and thank you for your attention.